back into ABC 7 at 7 on a Tuesday night. We've got a special guest for you here, the congressman from our 17th Congressional District here in Florida. Greg Steube joins us now. Back after a little while, we've changed the gray table, Greg. What do you think?
I liked it. It looks bigger, but
well, it's still an intimate conversation.
Yeah,
how are things in D.C. these days?
Well, luckily, the last week or so, I haven't been in D.C., so I've been back in the district, going around the district. We were in Venice earlier today. I'm back in Venice this afternoon. In a couple of days, I'll be in Okeechobee. I also represent Okeechobee County, so we're going to spend a day out in Okeechobee meeting with voters in Okeechobee.
You have a huge geographical
Nine
district.
counties, and it's hard, you know, trying to get out and meet as many people as you can when you go from Bartow in southern Polk County all the way down to North Fort Myers in Lee County. I have the coastline in Sarasota and Charlotte, and then I go all the way to Palm Beach County line and all the counties in between. So we try to do a good job to make sure that we hit as many counties as we can in a short period of time, but just getting there is 2 or 3 hours.
I appreciate you coming by and talking a couple of minutes with us right now. What are you hearing as you're back here in the district? You're not hearing the I word as much, are you?
You know, and I've talked about this. The American people, at least the Floridians in my district, their #1 priority is not impeaching the president. I go all over this district, 9 counties, and I have not had a single person come up to me and talk to me about impeachment, wanting to impeach the president. Yet that's what the Democratic majority is focusing all of their time in doing. And what happens because of that, because all the committees are spending their time impeaching and investigating the president, is all of these things that Floridians want us to be focused on, we're not focused on. The crisis at the border, lowering prescription drug prices, things that the president wants to do. USMCA would be great for our agricultural sector in this district, is sitting in the House. All that Nancy Pelosi has to do is bring it up for a vote. I think it would pass with bipartisan support, and nothing is getting done.
So what is the problem then? And let me ask you this. Do you believe the president has done anything wrong? I
have read, and I encourage all of your viewers to read the transcript. The president, to his credit, made it completely public. You can read for yourself if you believe that anything is there and is impeachable conduct. I have asked Democrats to show me where in there is a high crime and a misdemeanor that was committed between the conversation between the president and the president of the Ukraine. I don't see anything. I certainly don't think there's anything in there that's impeachable. And so, and the challenge is for 3 years the Democrats have been trying to impeach this president. First it was Russia collusion. Oh, the Trump campaign colluded with Russia. Trump's a spy for the Russian government. And then after a 2.5-year, 22-month investigation, Mueller, in his findings, found no collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia, despite the fact that they were approached many times and they denied having any involvement.
There were some findings in the report that were not pursuable because of the president's role as the president.
Well, when A.G. Barr and Rod Rosenstein, who was a deputy attorney general under the Obama administration for 8 years, took that not into consideration when they decided not to charge the president. And he made that very clear that he didn't take that into account, that he couldn't be charged as a sitting president, and decided not to charge him. So you have collusion, no collusion. You have obstruction of justice, no obstruction of justice. Then it went to corruption. You heard that, the Democrats talking about that for a while, and then we've gone from this to this whistleblower.
Yeah. And now the president apparently doubling down, saying, China, you find some stuff too. Is this tongue-in-cheek, as some have suggested, or is he really doubling, tripling down, hoping that this does go to a point of finding where all of this is going to come out?
Well, obviously the president can speak for himself. I think it's imperative that our country know the origins of all of this Russia collusion hoax that is being investigated by the IG. The report's supposed to be public here in October, and a lot of this came from the Ukraine. Fusion GPS got information, well, alleged information, that the Clinton campaign paid them to get, that the DNC paid them to get, that was the basis for the FISA warrants to spy on the Trump campaign. The American people deserve to know if there were actors in senior level positions in the FBI.
In any administration,
absolutely,
at any time that this was going on. I absolutely agree. Have you been able to, in your role in the Judiciary Committee, being able to look at this unredacted report?
We can. I have not gone. We can, as members of the Judiciary Committee, go to the DOJ and review the unredacted report. But it's those parts of it are classified for different reasons. So if I do go on air and talk about things, I have to be very careful about making sure that I'm not discussing things that are classified. So I haven't read the unredacted report. And just reading Mueller's findings, there's certainly not anything that is a basis for impeachment.
Okay. Let's switch the topic a little bit. During the Democrat debate, we heard one of the candidates say, yeah, we're going to take your AR-15s. That's got to be very concerning to someone who is as pro-Second Amendment as Greg Steube.
Yeah, and we've had committee hearings in Judiciary, and I encourage your viewers to go back and look at some of the feed. We have some of it posted on my social media. The Democratic-led Congress passed a magazine ban of anything more than 10 rounds, which obviously I do not support. They didn't even have a bill on a so-called assault weapons ban because there is no defined assault weapon. And I asked them in the hearing, and they had no definition of what an assault weapon is. There's nothing commercially available today that can operate as a machine gun. The way that a rifle, semi-automatic rifle, works every time you depress the trigger is the same as a handgun works every time you depress the trigger. So this demonizing of a certain type of weapon just because it looks scary, I don't think you should be restricting people's Second Amendment rights to defend themselves just because Democrats don't like a certain type of weapon that functions just like any other handgun does.
I think it might be just the branding problem is that the AR-15 has a brand identity issue right now. Being back here in your market, within the folks of your district, what do you take back now to D.C.? A hope to do what in addition to getting through this impeachment situation?
That's the challenge of being in the minority in Congress, and all their focus, the Democrats' focus, is impeaching this president. And unfortunately, nothing else can get done because of that. I'll be in Okeechobee in a couple of days, and I can guarantee you what the people are going to talk about there, the farmers are going to talk about, is passing USMCA, which I support. I've done speeches on the floor about passing the USMCA. All Speaker Pelosi has to do is bring it up for a vote. Those are the type of things that people in my district want us to do. They want us to go up there and solve problems. They don't want us to go up there and investigate the president and continue this impeachment narrative.
Well, it appears as though that's going to be the case.
That is going to be the case.
So I wish you good luck in getting some of this legislation passed and getting some things through. But again, I thank you for coming in and,
anytime.
Spending some time with us. Anything else you want to talk about and let the folks know?
Well, just I'm working on veterans pieces of legislation, and we had a telephone town hall not too long ago where we heard issues as it relates to challenges people are facing in dealing with the VA. I sit on the Veterans Affairs Committee. I am a veteran. So if any of your viewers have information or suggestions on how we can improve the VA system, please contact our office.
All right. Greg Steube.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming in, and we will be right back